what's happened in the last video.
Lots of serious character development.
And here is more MrDudeManSir.
I woke up early when old MrDudeManSir was still asleep. I stretched and sat up in the bed. I felt surprisingly okay, although I should have slept through the day after what happened the night before. Quietly, so as not to wake up the camp leader, I took the bag with my washing up stuff and went outside. I forgot to look at the clock, but it seemed like 6 or 7 in the morning. That is like really, that's like when I go to bed. Basically, the camp was asleep. The grass was shaking off the night dew. A light fog hung above the ground, and the sun was just beginning to break through the treetops. Not warm at all yet, like the fluorescent ramp in the house across the mine. I took a deep breath of the tasty cold air and thought that even like a night owl like me can enjoy waking up early sometimes. The streets of the camp were completely empty, of course. The water here was then cold, but today it seems like they got it from the Antarctic depths. Even my hands went numb from it. Finishing with my hygiene, I decided to walk around the camp a bit. Ogre MrDudeManSir is asleep. Breakfast not for a while yet, so there's nothing to do. I came to the square and looked at Genda. That guy doesn't care if it's day or night. He is so alert always. I smiled at the successful joke and headed to the bow shed. As I walked, I hummed along some song, absolutely sure I was the one awake here. Only one. To my great surprise, I saw someone sitting at the pier, hanging her feet in the water. Of course, it has to be Alisa, because that's the only one that makes sense after I'm on her route. Alisa! I came closer and stopped, not sure what to say. Then she suddenly turned around and stared at me. Been standing here long? Nah. Why aren't you asleep? Why aren't you? She turned back and stared at the river again. Looks like I'm not the only one in a good mood today. At least she wasn't being sassy again. Can't sleep. I see. About yesterday. You get everything right? What exactly? Oh, for God's sake. My answer didn't seem to go down well. Alright, I did. I lied. Alright, good. She suddenly looked straight in the eye and smiled. In that case, I have plans for you tonight. Eh? May I ask what they are? You don't need to know. Well, since I'm a part of them, well, you know when it's time. Can you give me a hint at least? Nope. She got up and walked towards me. A bit scared, I cleared the way. Don't you do anything stupid, Alisa said, moving away from the boat shed. I wonder what she meant. And what are those plans? I had no wish to become a part of such terrorist acts against a monument or anything. Besides, I was still haunted by yesterday's talk with Lena on the island. She is probably still angry, and I never managed to explain anything to her. Although I don't even know what I would say if I had the chance. I felt guilty about everything that had happened, but I couldn't figure out exactly what I was guilty of. The camp was starting to wake up. Breakfast was at least an hour away, and I had no desire to go back to the camp leader's cabin, so I decided to wait by the canteen. At least I'd be the first one there for once. I sat in the steps and watched the sun rising. Sometimes it's great just to watch a new day come. I was overwhelmed with complete peace and tranquility. There were no thoughts to tear up my brain as they usually do. I simply bathed in warm rays of heaven's star. In any other place, in any circumstances, I could have completely even say I was happy. Good morning. You're early today. I looked up and saw Lena standing in front of me. She was smiling. You too. All of last events flashed before my eyes. Listen. If it's about yesterday, please don't. She interrupted me sharply. I don't know what came over me. It was all... just forget it. She stared at me. Lena seemed much more confident than usual. If it was all that simple. There's nothing complicated about this. She sat down next to me. So close I felt a bit awkward but made no attempt to move away from her. Sometimes I had disputes with Lena. Yes, she has disputes with herself, her inner chakra. Alisa. Yeah, I realized. I see. But in this case, it happened because of me. Who knows? She answered, lost in thought. So that's why, you know, I'm embarrassed. Perhaps I really am to blame. Or rather, I'm not trying to say that I'm not to blame, but I was trying to explain myself like a 5th grader to a teacher. Okay, don't. As I said, nothing serious happened. And if you say so, you should just think about it, about how to act from now on. Not again. I covered my face with my hands, clearly showing that I have absolutely no idea what's going on here, that everything, to put mildly, is very unpleasant to me. Could you express yourself any clearer? What for? She said evasively. Look, if I don't know what I did wrong, I can't do better. I can't decide how to act, as you say. I think you understand. I would like to believe that as well, but... The canteen door suddenly flew open and Olga Dmitrievna came out. Sitting around hungry this early? She said playfully. Good morning. Lena said merrily. She got up and headed inside. Shall we? Yeah, sure. We were not done talking, but pioneers appeared out of nowhere and flooded the place. By the time I got my breakfast, Lena was already sitting, surrounded by Miku, Jenna, Slavia, and sadly, there was no more room or free chairs at their table. Feeling down, I deliberately not saying hi to anybody, I headed to my favorite place in the far corner of the canteen. I chewed my oatmeal, it was really chewy today, and washed it down with some cold tea. Then I began to watch the others. All the pioneers seemed to be here. Some were chatting, some, like Electronic and Shurik, were immersed in chewing, and some were gaping around me, gawping. Gawping? Is that a thing? Gawping? I was just about to leave when Olyana jumped over my table, with a tray and heaped with food. Bon appetit, she blurted. Stealing again? I asked, openly staring at her tray. A growing body requires lots of calories, nutrients, and other vitamins and minerals that make you good. Yeah, you really should grow up a bit, I whispered. What? I didn't think she heard me. Nothing. I headed out. Leaving so soon? She yelled at my back, disheartened. I gave no answer. I should have taken the washing up bath back in. I didn't want to carry it around all day. Besides, what am I going to do today? Nothing came to mind. I was in such a mood that it seemed like someone was going to show up and invite me on a journey. I left the camp leader's cabin and paused for a moment, then heard her voice calling out to me. Semyon! It was Slavia. Busy? No. Can you help me? Of course. I didn't want to look for answers on a wonderful day like this. A couple dozen hours wouldn't change my situation after all. What is it? You should stop by the cybernetics club room. Even you are telling me to do it now, not just him and all the other people as well. He handed me a key, he gave me all kinds of things, he gave me a sign-up form, he wants me to join the club room, and now you're egging me on to do it as well. I don't know why exactly, they'll tell everything. The unfortunate inventors again. Alright. Thank you. She gave me a nice smile and ran off. So, a journey to the enemy's lair lies ahead of me. To the lair of Dr. Evil Electronic and the diabolic Professor Shurik, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde. I don't know what reference that is, but I am nearly 100% sure that is a reference. I pushed the door and firmly entered. Semyon! Electronic said a bit ominously, glancing up from the contraption he had been poking with a screwdriver. Do I get it? Finally know what you've been doing with this the Neko robot? Slavia sent me. I know. And? What? The second door opened and Shurik came in. Semyon. He greeted me in the same tone of Electronic had. Well, I was last time I checked. I joked. So what do you need from me? We have an important task. I'm listening. The nurse came by yesterday. He stopped as if I wasn't going to continue. So? I asked carefully. So we have an important mission for you. It's still there. I got that already. You are to deliver a package to her. Can you do that yourselves? The infirmary is like 10 feet. I said skeptically. We can't. Electronic said, surprised. That what a weird couple indeed. I see. Not another heavy bag, I hope. No, nothing like that. He smiled. Alright, fine. I carefully agreed. Hold on. Hold your horses. Sure, disappeared to the door and soon came back holding something wrapped in paper. Just be careful. Alright. I took the package. If the pioneers weren't passing me the key to the pearly gates, it still looked like they were at least giving me the Olympic torch. Can I go? Of course. Electronic said threateningly. Just be careful. Shrek pleaded. Every time I'm in that room, I feel like some sort of creeping out or some sort of weirded. I don't understand. That room. People are so... They are obsessed with getting me to do something for them. I do not understand. They want me to join that club room so bad. Outside, I took a good look at the package. They never told me how to open it, although it makes sense to go further in. I quickly walked to the square and, making sure nobody was following, slipped into the forest. I stood there for a while, indecisive, looking at the package. I wonder, what's in it? Why is it so important for them? Why couldn't they take it themselves? I had a lot of questions. I opened the package and saw a bottle. Oh my god, of vodka! Well, so what? Pioneer's bringing a bottle of vodka to the nurse. Or rather, I'm doing it for them. Happens every day. I wrapped the bottle back up and scratched my head. This isn't weird anymore. This is just stupid. They are backers. So stupid I couldn't think of an intelligent theory. I stood there for a while longer and thought I should not let such a wonderful chance slip away. I quickly walked to the camp leader's cabin. Why? Thank God, old Michiel was not there. I snuck inside and began to rifle through the contents of the table drawer. Soon the vodka was in a bottle, soda bottle. While it's in place, there was some water for the plants. Happy with my clever plan, I went out and skipped along the way to the infirmary. Seriously, what is so wrong about that? They almost got me into a trap. If the camp leader had seen me, if anyone else had, I could have managed myself. So it was absolutely nothing. I gathered all my strength and knocked on the infirmary door. Hi. Hey. Voila. Hello, Pioneer. Hello, I have a package for you. A bottle for your armpits. I mean a package for your cabinet. I was so euphoric I began to talk nonsense. Ah, she said. Hand it over. I handed her the package. A nurse stuffed it into the desk drawer without even looking. You didn't open it, did you? Of course not. I would never think about doing a thing like that ever in my entire life. Why would you even ask that question? I blurted out. Good boy. Alright, so I'll be... Go, Pioneer. Go, Pioneer. I could always pin this on the crazy inventors, and in my situation I really could even use the most basic form of stress relief. I came to the square. The clock showed noon. That meant dinner was coming. I sat... Wait, what? Did it say dinner? Did that say dinner? What? Where did it go? What? What? It skipped it. It's skipping that text that said that... Huh? Someone told me in chat that this button does things? Show me your needs. Show me... What? No, dinner's coming. Clock showed noon. Dinner? That doesn't make sense. That is not right. Dinner is not noon. That is lunch. They are wrong. They are wrong, people. I went through all that just to prove that it is lunchtime, not dinner time. Okay. I sat on the bench with a solid intention of not moving from here till the come and get it bell sound comes. Pioneers were running by. They were smiling and shouting merrily. Yes, the day was definitely a wonderful one. I glanced over the square and saw Leonard approaching. Relaxing? Something like that. Wait, why did it turn to the... like... this tone? This is the tone that I think is like a flirty type tone. So, why, when Lena appears, are we flirting? I guess. This is a bit weird. I already did Lena's route. This is not Lena's route. She sat by me and looked at the sky. Nice day, huh? It is. It was a bit awkward. Lena seemed different. She was not embarrassed. Her face was not red. She was confident. So about that conversation. I told you everything already. Yeah, but just forget it. If you say so. We sat for a little longer in silence. I just can't. Not like that. So what do you think about Alisa? She said, ignoring my inquiry. What do I think about Alisa? I repeated, lost in thought. I don't really know. Why? You're just so worried about yesterday. Well, of course, but what does that have to do with it? There's a direct connection there. She laughed. Let's assume. So what? Well, and again I started thinking. Really, what do I think of her? Well, she can be arrogant sometimes. That's right. What else can I say? Now that I think of it, I don't know Alisa at all. The way she acts does annoy me sometimes. If you're wondering if I had any negative feelings about her, then no. I mean, she gets carried away, but everything has her quirks. Lana stared at me. Really? Did I say something wrong? No, not really. She laughed out loud one more time, just before the lunch bell sound came. Alright, see you later. I did not stop her, although I had questions left. But how do I ask them? And should I? I got up and slowly shuffled to the canteen. There were only a few spots left, so I had to sit in with the electronic and shirk. Did you deliver it? Yeah. I answered lazily, poking my fork at the buckwheat kasha. No incidents? No incidents. What was in there anyway? You didn't open it, did you? He stared. No. Great. I don't comprehend what their overarching plot is. What are they trying to do? Finishing my meal, I went out. I was struck by a sudden yawn. Taking a nap wouldn't be a bad idea. I headed to the camp leader's cabin. It felt like the summer sun was going to melt the whole planet, together with all of its inhabitants. There was nowhere to hide. The sunlight seemed to reflect from every surface. Looking up, you risked going blind. Using my last bit of strength, I pulled the door handle, entered the room, and fell onto the bed. Of course, I wouldn't expect the cabin to be really cool, but it was much better than outside. Blissfully, I stretched out in the bed and closed my eyes. Strangely, sleep deserted me. I was overrun with thoughts, teeming with my head. Here's another theory, a solution to the problem of how I got here. Here's the explanation of what's going on here. And here's the true form of all those inhabiting this place. I remember Lena saying, what do you think about Alisa? Seriously, what do I think of her? What can I think of a person I've only known for a few days? Can I just draw conclusions based on a couple words and deeds? Although her deeds, I don't have to be. And any relevant organization would draw the right conclusion based on a monumental bombing. Still though, I don't dare? Maybe I really don't think anything of her. Can one be interested in a person who's not interesting? No, that's some sort of absurdity. A knock on the door. Come in. I was too lazy to get up, so I sat up a little bit. Hey. The door opened and I saw Alisa. What a coincidence. She stopped, unsure, and stared at me for several seconds. I guess you were looking for the camp leader. Why would she though? No. What's up then? I was looking for you. She sounded calm and not aggressive at all. I caught myself, thinking I was not afraid of her and had no concerns why she behaved like that, normally. What for? I want to make everything clear. She sat on the bed across from me. What exactly? I want to clean up my misunderstandings or miscommunications. Alright, I'm up for that. Have you spoken with Lena today? Yeah. About what? Well, nothing really. You're lying. Let's look stiff and worried. She crossed her legs and bit a lip. You do understand I'm always assumed to be guilty whenever anything happens. Well, you always are guilty. I said thoughtlessly. A spark flashed in her eyes, but she kept talking normally. Maybe. But in this case, me and Lena were always like that. Even if she started something, she's all innocent and I take all the blame. So you're saying that Lena... Actually, I don't really know what you're saying. You never understand anything, do you? She fumed. It's strange. I wouldn't call myself slow. So explain. You do know Lena likes you. She went red after those words. No, because I'm a baka and I don't understand these things. I answered truthfully. Well, now you do. Now I do. An uncomfortable silence overtook the room. I was processing what she said, and Alisa seemed unsure of how to continue the conversation. Lena likes me. Could I ever have guessed? Unlikely. My intuition is usually good, but when it's about me and my feelings, it does not work at all. The weirdest thing was, I accepted the news with almost no worries. Right at the moment I was listening to Alisa, I was focused only on her. I could think about the rest later. And she thinks I'm going to steal you away from her? Oh, she thinks I'm going to steal you away from her. She thinks it all the time, you understand? Even though it's always the other way around. Everyone looks at her because she's such an angel and nobody pays any attention to me. To them, I'm just a shoulder to cry on. I just started screaming. Look, please don't get so upset. I don't think you're of that. I don't think of you like that. Of course. I still had no idea how forced her to be so honest, and I didn't know how to react. Moreover, I was not worried at all. It was like I was watching another episode of some TV series, and what was going on in the room was on the other side of the screen. I understand. That was the reason for all of it. But today, Lena said it was okay. I just like her. You've probably realized that she's not as quiet as she used to seem. I started to guess. If I can do anything, tell me. Alisa raised her eyes. Only then did I see she's been crying. Some sort of worry stirred inside of me. I could not treat this conversation like I was the outsider anymore. Do you like Lena, or do you like me? I guess I should have expected a question like that, but I really wasn't ready. Just like that. Lena is nice, of course. But Alisa has her good points as well. Besides, the way she was at the moment, she could seriously compete with Lena. I don't really know you two at all. A question like that, it's difficult to answer directly. If I could say no, I would have, at that very moment. But I only had one chance for the other answer as well. And I didn't know what to choose. You did want the situation to resolve itself. Of course, but... Why but again? Why again? Why? Look, we're going nowhere with this. Well, answer then. Her face fell back in its usual bold arrogance. I need time to think. I'll go ahead and think. Elsa stood up abruptly and headed out. Don't forget we have plans for tonight. She sat on the threshold, smiling. The door closed behind her before I could say anything. Plans? What kinds of plans? The talk with Alisa left a heavy impression on me. So, Lena likes me. On its own, the news could have started to shock and startle. And I, above that, was also forced to make a choice. A difficult one, to put it mildly. Any choice I would make would seem a mistake for someone. If only I could refuse them both. Although I didn't like the word refuse itself. If I could just answer her question with a no, it would be easier. But I knew it couldn't work like that. After I talked to Alisa, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. It can't be, no matter what happens. And I'll have to make a decision. Since I rejected the no scenario, I need to pick a positive solution. If, of course, I could live with it. But I was sure that out of all the possible outcomes, there's one that won't just satisfy everyone, but would also be that one I would like to strive for. And the choice seems obvious. Lena. She's pretty, she's cute, she's kind. I'm wrong, and... What? I mean, the entire time I was reading that, I was like, I had this really confused face in my face. So yeah, that was weird. I was expecting you to say about Alisa, but okay. But then again, there was something about Alisa that attracted me. Suddenly, the door flew open and Olga Dmitrievna came in. Lounging around again, huh? Just resting. It's so hot out there. Go and help Slavia. She's asking around. Where? I asked lazily. On the sports field. Reluctantly, I got up and headed out. I should really air my brain out anyway. There were a lot of people at the sports grounds. Some were playing football, and others were playing badminton. Younger kids were chasing each other, And by the way, football means soccer. Semyon, Slavy walked up to me. You acquired my... I know this seems like a regular sentence to you, but I've been playing Hearthstone quite a lot, and when you play a legendary card known as Archmage Antonidas, he says, "You require my assistance?" And that made me immediately think of Hearthstone. So, that's a thing. I asked, all unofficial-like. Yeah. Listen, did you take the infirmary key? No. Why me again, anyway? Well, you were there a lot recently. I was there once to give her a vodka that I didn't actually give her. I guess she is right. No. Maybe you know who did. No, why? The nurse came up to me to ask for the key. You know when I have the key to every building in this camp? She said hers went missing. Oh, that's the key that was in the lunchroom. I think I did not pick that up. It doesn't matter. Anyway, that's completely irrelevant. Could she have lost it? I shrugged. No, she said she couldn't have. I don't know, okay? Okay. She smiled and ran off. Best conversation ever. Do you have the key? No. Okay. Okay. She ran off. I headed to the camp leader's house, determined to get some sleep after all. Woke up mentioned that wasn't there, thank God, so I fell in the bed and lost consciousness. I don't exactly remember what I dreamt of, but I felt a heavy impression, as afternoon naps often do. I put some effort into getting off the bed and looked at the clock. It was just after 7. Not surprising if you think about it. I should have expected to sleep through the day. Although, as it turns out, I missed dinner as well. That thought made me uncomfortable and I headed to the exit. Oh dear, whoopsie. That was a complete whoopsie moment. That was whoopsie. I stopped on the threshold and thought of what to do next. I don't know how long I would have stood there. My head was still heavy after sleep, if someone hadn't called out to me. Slavy was quickly walking towards the cabin. Semyon, she says as getting a little bit closer to me. She started, breathless. Are you sure you do not have the infirmary key? Are you sure? Have you checked your pockets 3 times? Of course not. Why would I need it? Well, do you know who took it? No, I do not keep track of her keys. I am Semyon, not the key enthusiast. Well, something has gone missing. It happens to be that key. Wow. Something important. Don't tell me this is all about that vodka bottle. That vodka bottle is not important. It is, unless it's used for medical purposes, which could be used for other things to substitute in as the vodka. That is not useful. Slavy hesitated. Some medication. So all of this disturbance was started because of some medicine. Although, I pondered. I mean, I have a bottle in my cabin. Did she mean that? I have tried to keep my face still as a stone without doing anything to give myself away. Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay. Goodbye. I looked at her and tried to figure out how bad the situation was for me, or whether I was in trouble at all. On the other hand, I had vodka. The one hand, the vodka I did steal it. Then again, she's saying it's gone as in disappeared all by itself, with no external influence. Although it's highly unlikely that she would say that the bottle of a trophy vodka was stolen from the infirmary. So the way it was said was okay, the problem was different. I suddenly got really scared. What if they find out it was me? Even if it wasn't about the bottle, they'd still find it while I was looking while I was gone. Basically, I had to get a move on. And the main thing to do right now was get rid of all the evidence. Break the bottle over top of someone's head, and then throw the glass into the trash, hopefully a recycling bin, and then it'll be all gone. Just dispose of the knocked out body into the cabin on the bed, and no one will ever understand. Or you could basically just break the bottle open, or throw the bottle into the forest, but breaking it over someone's head is way more climactic, of course. I jumped into the cabin, shoved the bottle on my belt, and raced to the forest. Burying it somewhere was the best decision at the moment. Of course, I just said that putting it into the forest was the best idea, but you forgot for a second that me and Semyon are one and the same. So, yes. I took my time looking for a spot, never noticing night falling on the camp. A familiar voice surprised me. Hey. I struggled to turn back, making my face look as casual as possible. So, what's going on here? I'm just having a walk. My voice sounded calm, but I already understood. I couldn't fool Alisa. Alone at night in the woods. Well, yeah. What's wrong? Nothing at all. She stared at me. Okay, then I'll... Hold on. Aren't you forgetting something? Don't think so. We had an agreement. About tonight! I think she's right. There was something like that I said, or maybe, I don't remember. Yes, but you see... No, I don't. Let's go. We're doing it now. You are coming with me. She turned around and gestured me to follow. I thought that there was no point in arguing. Any word my action could be given away. And then, sighing, I followed. I literally just teleported into her cabin from the forest. She said, let's go. I grabbed the hold of her hand and then bloop right into the middle of her cabin. That's how it worked. It was a couple of minutes before we reached her cabin. But of course he was keeping the teleportation times. Teleportation isn't the fastest, but it takes a few minutes to get from one place to another, and that's great. While we were walking, I was busy trying to find the best time and place to ditch the vodka, but Alisa stayed so close that I couldn't manage anything. Well, she stared at me. Well, what? I was so nervous that my hair was wet with sweat. It was so wet and sweaty that it rhymed. The only thing in my mind at that moment was how to adjust the bottle so she would not notice. What do you say? About what? Alisa pondered. Okay, I guess you're right. I brought you here, so I'm the one to decide. Okay. I agreed, unsure. Hold on a minute. She reached under the bed, and in a few seconds, pulled out a bottle of... Oh. I was shocked. Surprised, huh? Of course. Not by the vodka itself, though, but by the fact that it was an exact bottle I carried in the infirmary this morning. The murky contents gave it away. So... Alisa looked at me teasingly. What? What? But if I took the bottle out and put it in my room, and then I had the bottle that was in my room, but she has the exact copy of the bottle that was in the infirmary that never actually got to the infirmary. Did it just duplicate? It duplicated and then teleported into her underneath the bed. I do realize now that Alisa does have teleporting powers, but that is to the extreme of teleporting. Alisa looked at me teasingly. What? Want to take a shot? I didn't even know what to say to that. What she had was just rotten water. The real vodka was in the bottle under my belt. Well, kind of. Don't tell me what you want to drink. Oh, never mind. This is the bottle. This is the fake bottle. Okay, this is... Okay. Well, it's a powder. I don't know. No, I just... Alright then, just a second. In just an instant, Alisa got 2 glasses and filled them to the brim. Let's do this. She said giving me one of the glasses and drowned hers before I could answer. Oh. She gasped. In the moment she realized. What on earth is that? She started spitting. They call this vodka? Despite my difficulty, I couldn't help laughing. What are you laughing at? What are you laughing at? Alisa shouted, red in the face. I'm asking you, what is so funny? It actually is funny. So you have a phone drink yours? We'll see how you laugh then. I had no desire to try the stale water, but just to avoid making her suspicious, I asked, so how does it taste? Like rotten water. She became upset. I was just going to relax a bit and have a cultured timeout, and then a cultured timeout? I repeated as a new bout of laughter bent me in half. Hey, you stop it. Alisa shouted and jumped at me. She was trying to hit me or bite me with something. Maybe the plan was to crush me to death with her authority? This like, I have the right away here, and she just like drops some sort of mystical force with her, the force that she has because of her authority, and it just crushes me onto the ground. Of course, I grabbed her hands, and all she could do was gasp in the powerless anger though, because she could not use her authority force. I was going fine, but then Alisa's legs slid and then she began to fall. I let go of her hand so she fell right on top of me, painfully headbutting me in the nose. I moaned in pain, threw her off, and then turned to the side. What do we have here? When I realized she had taken the bottle, all the pain disappeared. Give it back. I tried to get the bottle back, but Alisa nimbly jumped off the bed and ran to the far corner of the room. Let's see, huh? She immediately removed the cap and took a big gulp. In a moment, her face went red and her eyes seemed to pop out of the sockets. Whoa, what is this? She rasped while coming back to her senses. That's the actual vodka. I seemed to have come to terms with my defeat. But where did you get it? You really thought you had stolen the right one from the infirmary? She nodded. Well, it was the right bottle, sure, but the contents... Man, you're clever. She was already starting to slur her words after one gulp. After one gulp. But that makes sense, because it was straight vodka. Alisa came to the window, poured the water out of my glass, and replaced it with vodka. Come on. I want... No. Really, this is not the right time or place. Drink it, or else I'll tell everyone you stole the bottle. She is just the expert of blackmailing. But it was you. Well, you have the vodka. You can't prove that. You don't even think I have to? Alisa said maliciously. Unsure what to do, I stared at the glass, and then bottoms up. You know what's important to get rid of this with this? Do it. Do it. Just do it! I breathed out abruptly and swallowed the contents of the glass in one quick motion. A short moment after I regretted that. Got any food to chase this? Wait a second. Alisa said excitedly and pulled a large stick of ham out of her drawer. I tore it from the hands and bit off a piece. Phew. I feel like this is some sort of like two-man mosh pit type thing. All they need is like some sort of heavy metal rock stuff, and then they'll just be ripping meat and drinking vodka out of the bottle, and they jumping up in the air and stuff, and it'll be like a redneck mosh pit with two. So how was it? You're asking. It's not like I have a full strength booze every day, you know. I really don't understand how I agreed to this so easily. Well, how was it? Like double bubble with vodka flavor. Alright, time with another round then. She opened up the bottle again and poured us half a glass each. Don't you think that's enough? No way. There's no end to partying. Well, since we've already started. The alcohol was starting its work. Without even a second thought, I gulped down the vodka. Alisa was definitely less experienced. She was having some trouble with her second glass. Oh, how does it? She seemed really drunk already. If you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. I said merrily. I have to have like some sort of drunk man sound, so I have to get myself into the mode of being drunk, I guess. If I can somehow pull that off. Somewhere deep inside I realized it too much, but the gun was already loaded. How about me? Alisa was outraged. Haven't you had enough? No way! She grabbed the bottle from my hand and started to drink it straight from it. Hey, man, we got glass. No! Screw 'em! She shouted and roared with laughter. This is so cool, she said, catching her breath. Sure, it's not bad. I looked at the bottle we gotten through 2/3. It was definitely drunk by that point, and Alisa seemed even worse. Then again, there was barely anything left. I sighed and poured the full glass for myself and a half glass for Alisa. That's all? There were these words. She chucked the bottle from the... I don't need this glass anymore. There's no more vodka. The window can take it. What if they find it? Oh, Cass. We both laughed. Oh, as drunk people do. Okay then, for all ladies present. I grunted and drank. I'm having way too much fun with that, for narrating this. And all for the gentleman. She followed my lead. I'm getting dizzy. Oh dear, what? Wait, I want to see, what the world just happened? Okay. She apparently, when she says undid a few buttons on her shirt, she literally means takes her bow off, ties it to her wrist, and then she takes her shirt off, and then ties it into some sort of knot here. That is apparently known as undoing a few buttons on a shirt. I carefully looked at her. Had she always been beautiful? Or was everyone beautiful for me at this point? Whichever it was, I did not force myself to look away. You're gonna stay a whole room to keep going like that. Alisa laughed. So, go in outside. Embarrassed, I stared at my feet. You can look if you're so interested. Okay. With some effort I opened an eye and saw her continuing to unbutton her shirt. This is probably where the hentai scene would be kicking in full throttle. I'd assume anyways. I was assuming this since... I was actually thinking this since the very moment they brought the vodka bottle out. No words could escape my mouth. Besides, who needs words in moments like this? Yeah. What happened then was what was supposed to happen. At this time I was unable to think of what was going to be right to do. I didn't want to do. I just felt good. The light bulb burned out. One of us turned off the light, but either way the room went dark. I looked around the cabin and thought of something. Where's Ulyana? What, you're afraid that someone will come and see us? She grinned warmly. It could happen. I asked her to spend the night at another girl's cabin. Wait, so you planned all this? Well, not something like this, of course. She looked at me intently, smiled, and closed her eyes. Yeah. I stared at the ceiling for a while longer and soon heard quiet, deep breathing. Alisa was asleep. My head ached suddenly. The alcohol seemed to be wearing off. You just drank literally half a bottle of vodka, and after like an hour it is wearing off. This guy is a really good trooper, apparently. Best thing to do in this case is to follow her lead and get some sleep as well. Before I finished the thought, I was already fast asleep.